to get Miss Moneypenny in these videos because cats and videos just goes together. Hope you're all doing well out there. Hope everybody can hear me well. Hit me in the live chat if you can hear me okay. These videos, it's always like you hit live and then there's like a little delay and then you can hear the person. So just let me know if everything's going well and all the audio is all good. Okay, a little bit of housekeeping just before we get started. I do hope this is interactive. I'm not here to talk to you about how amazing I am at drum covers. I'm an amateur engineer and I'm just doing my best and having a bit of fun. So I'm hoping to learn off you guys today as well. And I mean that in a genuine way. I'm always out to learn. Christopher Shapir, thank you for the coffee. Without a word of a lie, actually, the community coffee was pretty damn good. They've all been good. But I believe that coffee you sent last time, I'm already off topic. This thing, I've opened this one. Red apple chocolate hazelnut. Oh my lord, that is good. I think it's the best one yet. Anyway, so the idea with this chat is not to preach to you or, yeah, I'll try and help you with your covers today, but I'm not saying I'm the best at drum covers. There's this guy, John Q, that I did a reaction on. He did the Rosetta Stoned. Insane. I'm open and transparent on this channel. John Q does much better drum covers than I do. Much better. Mine are one and done. Throw the mics up, hit record, and get out before a band comes in to rehearse on the night. So very, very different world. Oh, you need to be subscribed if you want to join in with the chat. Anything else, housekeeping wise? Yeah, I'm not sure how popular this is going to be. I did a poll a while back just asking generally on the channel who of my subscribers considers themselves a serious drummer, and then, you know, a hobbyist, and then a non-drummer but a fan of music or a fan of drumming. And there are a lot of people that watch this channel who are just casual drumming fans and not at all interested in recording covers. So this video might not be for them or for you. But watch it anyway, because you get to see my cat, Miss Moneypenny, sleeping, and you're probably going to get to hear her snoring because she's already... The sounds that come out of this creature, I'll tell you. Suzanne, greetings, Andrew from Dallas. Suzanne roasting me on my isolated Black Sabbath cover. I love it. And we've already got a question from Robert McCambridge Drums. Springy's here. It's midnight. This better be good. That's what she said, Springy. Brian Schutt, what's up from Ohio? What's up, Brian? And Kian Burnett? Kian Burnett. Horns up. Oh, any gear that I mention on this video is available via a SWEETWATER link in the description of each of my videos. You can just go there and you'll immediately find if I do mention a mic. All my gear is actually pretty considered purchases. I'm pretty careful with that stuff. I go around, I've got lots of professional engineer friends. I always ask them for advice. So any advice I give you is basically a professional engineer's advice in terms of gear. But disclaimer, I do consider myself an amateur engineer. Okay, so basically there are a lot of ways to record a drum cover and a lot of reasons to record a drum cover. So the first and definitely the most important reason I believe to record a drum cover, and it's what I've done on my channel since day one, because the first videos I did on the channel all the way back 2013 were covers, is that recording yourself is the best way to improve. Now, I said before, I'm an amateur engineer. I'm a professional drum teacher, and I can tell you from being a drum teacher and for teaching for 20 odd years full-time and playing a heap, I can honestly tell you there are almost two groups of drummers. There are drummers who record themselves regularly perhaps, and therefore know what they sound like. There's another group of drummers who don't record themselves regularly, and in some cases have never ever recorded themselves. This group of drummers do not know what they sound like. And so as a full-time drum teacher, I encourage all of my students to record themselves. I've recorded a bunch of students for the channel as well. If you dig back far enough, you'll find plenty of student recordings. Can you hear the snoring? Crack up. And it's always funny for me because, excuse me, still got this lingering cough. It's funny for me because whenever I do release a cover, someone in the comments will invariably say, "Oh, it's good to finally see you play. I didn't know you played. You know, good to finally see you play." There are literally hundreds and hundreds of drumming videos of me playing on the channel. So this is probably just an algorithm thing. If you're here for the reactions, YouTube will just keep sending you more and more of the reactions. So if you dig in, you will find plenty of covers. Okay, E-kit. If you're going to record on an E-kit, which I have done, which was new to me in the last lockdown we had here, because I couldn't get on my acoustic, that is simply, in the case of my Roland drum kit, it's simply a USB-C, I believe it is, from my laptop, really out of the drum kit, out of the E-kit, into the laptop. One USB cable, it cost me $5. If you see any of my E-kit drum covers, I've done a heap of Led Zeppelin ones, Cult of Personality by Living Colour, Wood, Alice in Chains, a couple of Black Sabbath covers on my E-kit. That is with one USB cable out of the kit into my computer, and from there you capture that audio. Typically you would capture the audio whether you're recording your E-kit or an acoustic kit in a DAW, DAW, or Digital Audio Workstation. You've probably heard of Pro Tools, or some people I guess are using Audacity, GarageBand. I'm using Reaper, which is a free DAW, and it's really, really good. And just to cap off the E-kit thing, you can either capture the actual sounds from your module, or you can record your E-kit as MIDI. I can get into this more in depth on videos down the track, but if you record it in MIDI, then you can apply external sounds to that MIDI. And my early E-kit covers were just module sounds, and there was a point there, you'll hear it, might have been When the Levee Breaks or Black Dog, one of those covers. I started using what they call VSTs, or external sounds, which you can essentially plug into the MIDI that you've already recorded, and you sound replace everything. It's still you playing, it's hard to explain really. It's kind of magic how this works. You just plug in this VST plugin and boom, you can have hopefully a Led Zeppelin sounding kit or a Black Sabbath sounding kit, and it kind of does that for you. Acoustic kits can range from being easier than that to a lot more complicated than that. And that depends on how many mics you want to use. And at this point, it might be a good idea to start on some of the questions. There are a few already. Okay, Robert McCambridge drums. G'day Andrew. G'day. What are your key recommendations for recording a drum cover on a budget, specifically when it comes to recording the drums itself, e.g. mic placement, equipment, etc.? Great. Can you hear this? Can you hear what's going on here with the snoring? So if we started really, really basic, Caleb H. We all know and love Caleb H., the young, phenomenal drummer whose videos have gone viral. His system of recording a drum cover, or some of them at least, the ones, might have been the first one I saw, I can't remember the others, the Slipknot one I watched of his, he recorded that, I believe, just on a phone or a camera, and then it's just him playing the drums with the sound coming out like of a stereo, and he's just playing along with that. That is you cannot get any more basic than that. That is as basic as it gets. You're sacrificing a lot of sound quality doing that. But as Caleb H showed us, if you're good, it doesn't matter. And he is really good. So in that case, you don't really need anything, right? You set up your phone, or yeah, it's probably going to be a phone these days, right? My hands look huge with this perspective. So you just set up a camera, phone, play your drums with the stereo, and play along with it. Done. Whatever you get, you get. If you want to go a little bit further than that, you can start recording the drums isolated separately to the music, right? And typically to do that, you would need some kind of DAW. Again, DAW, Digital Audio Workstation, Pro Tools, GarageBand, Logic. I use Reaper. Just gonna make sure I answer your question properly. Okay, and from there, you start getting into mics. How many mics do you want to use for this recording? Typically, if you're like me, I've actually only got access to 4 channels on my interface. So this is what my mics get plugged into. And then from there, USB out of this interface into my laptop. Simple as that. So I've got kick, snare, overhead right, overhead. If we start with one mic, if you were going to record your drums with one mic, I would go with an Audio-Technica AT2035. It's a condenser, and it's also got some handy switches on the back. You can switch, you can take off 10 dB. So when you're playing drums are loud, in case you didn't know. Just flick that down and you take 10 dB volume off the mic. It's also got a low cut switch, so you can roll off some of the nasty bass that you might not want. So if I was using if I was doing a one mic recording, I would just pop one of these somewhere near the middle of the kit. Let's say slightly above the bass drum. And hopefully from there, it's going to capture a bit of everything. One mic recordings are really, really underestimated. And they actually sound really good. I should do a few more one mic recordings. The good thing about a one mic recording, if you're an amateur engineer like me, you can't stuff it up. You actually can't screw it up too much. As long as you're not recording too loud and actually clipping, distorting the signal, you can't record it out of phase. You can't, like, it's just up, then it's just up to mic positioning. And yeah, as I say, I try and get it about that high, above the bass drum, above the rim of the bass drum. And then you kind of just got to use your ears and listen back to it and just think, okay, can I hear the toms? Can I hear the cymbals? Can I hear the kick? and snare, and well, you're always going to hear the snare. Cheers, by the way. Beyond that, you might want to step it up and try your hand at a 2 mic recording. By the way, all these links for this gear is in the description of my videos, and I'm not trying to sell you any crazy expensive stuff. I've used really expensive mics. These mics are really, really cheap. My second overhead is also an Audio-Technica AT2020. So this is an AT2035. This is an AT2020. They're essentially the same mics. This one is even cheaper, and it doesn't have the 2 switches that I showed you on the back. If I could have my time back again, I probably would have got 2 AT2035s. And to let you know how cheap these mics are, this mic was, you've seen my covers, right? I don't know, you might think they sound good, you might think they don't. This mic was $100. $100 US. So if I was going to use 2 mics, I would use 2 condensers. And placement on those is going to change. You no longer need probably that 1 mic right in the middle of the kit. I would probably, if I was going to use 2 mics, I'd probably have 1 of those mics out and in front of the bass drum. Maybe, this is, you have to do this by ear. But maybe that much, that's what she said, out in front of the bass drum, and above, like facing down on top of the snare drum with the other one. So that would be 2 mics. Always use your ears, of course. There's no replacement for a good set of ears. But even with 2 mics, I've found personally, again, as an amateur engineer, I've found a real struggle getting a good sound with 2 mics. 1 mic, I can get a great sound straight away and just play, balance my own playing. It's gonna sound really good. 2 mics, you'd think, 2 mics, 2 more? More? It's gonna sound better. You're already gonna start getting into potential phase issues and all kinds of stuff. Really good engineers make all this look and seem easy, and it's not. Okay, if I was going to add a 3rd mic, Robert McCambridge drums, I'm answering your question really in depth here. I personally would use a Sennheiser E902 kick mic. This thing is the bomb. Absolutely fantastic kick mic. There's a whole bunch of good kick mics in general. I think from memory I just used this because I saw them using it on Drumeo, and I thought, man, the drum sound on Drumeo is pretty damn good. I'm going to get the mic they use. And I got the Sennheiser E902. Sweetwater link in the description of my video. Go and get it. So that's the 3rd mic. If I was going to use a 4th mic, I would probably mic the snare. I wouldn't probably mic the snare, I would mic the snare. And this is what you've seen in my recent videos. The 4 mic setup. My 4th mic for the snare, the trusty, the one and only, the old Smoky, the old Dusty, the old lady, whew, big mama, the Sharp SM57. Stock standard, you can run this over with a Sherman tank and it will work just fine. No problems. This mic, tell you, if I wasn't married, this mic will pretty much record anything. And it is for, I mean, try and wrap your head around this. $100 mic that they use in all the top pro studios around the world. $100. And this is the mic that they use on snares. I mean, mics can get up there into the thousands. Thousands and thousands. I did a podcast episode with an engineer friend in the UK. And he sent me his audio file for the podcast, so I could edit them together. And I replied back to him and I said, dude, there's audio. What? He's a professional engineer, mind you. What mic did you use to record this? And he told me it was a Sony mic and it was worth about, from memory, I think it was £9,000. So just to put this into perspective, that this Robert McCambridge drums, you are asking about a budget, recording on a budget. This is budget. My kick mic would be the most expensive mic here, but it's a great mic. And you might be able to find a cheaper one if you wanted. But hit the Sweetwater links in my description and see what you think of the price. The next step, if you're going to start using multi microphones, is your interface. This thing is absolutely amazing. It's the only one I've had, so I can't say whether it's better or worse than other ones. I've been using this since I've been recording, which is a while now, 7 years maybe. It's never failed me. And I use this to record the reaction videos and to record podcast episodes with guests. So if you're recording multiple channels, in my case 4, but you can get more strips if you want, I recommend the Focusrite Scarlett 18i8. Yes, and that's kind of gear, really. Let's get back into some of the questions, if there are any. Oh, Marcus Brown's letting me know that he can hear me. Sweet as. Can you see Miss Moneypenny, Marcus? Let me know if you can see her. You gotta be very careful. If you pat Miss Moneypenny too many times, you get and we don't want it. Okay. Mel Smith, have you used the grit mics? Get right in there. That's what she said. Get right in there. I have used a smash mic, like an SM57, and tried to get it in between, in that one mic position I was talking about, and just put it above the bass drum and sort of capturing everything. I have tried that with varying results, but you know, I'm an amateur. Sometimes my recordings work, sometimes they don't. And I'm not afraid to say that. I churn out, as you would know as a subscriber of my channel, I churn out a lot of content. That's what she said. And honestly, sometimes my videos are hit or miss in that sense. But my videos are mainly for me to learn from, also other than, you know, to hopefully entertain and provide some information for my viewers. They're also for me. It's a bit of a library of practice for me and progress, hopefully. Something that I can hopefully look back on and go, man, that's a cool cover. That sounds pretty good. What else we got here? Keith, KC8TCQ. I really miss the Zildjian ZMC10 microphone system for studio recording. I don't know anything about that system, but please elaborate, Keith. Church of the Holy Mo. Anyone tried the Behringer BC1200 drum mics? 5 dynamic, 1 kick 4 toms, plus 2 condensers for 120. What? All of those 7 mics for $129. That could be a good video. I should get that pack and do a recording, but problem is I've only got 4 inputs. That's what she said. Michael Paris. It's not about the gear as long as it clears a basic threshold. That's always true. And he's but usually true. Okay. John Marimba. Earthworks overheads equidistant. I didn't talk about that. From snare center, sometimes in Glenn John's configuration, along with cheap Audix bass drum mic works all right for me. John Marimba, please share a link. Please share a link with one of your covers, or I don't know if you're doing covers or you're just recording in general. Put a link in the. I don't know if a link will work Actually, YouTube can be funny with links. Email me a link. And I'd love to hear it, man. But the Earthworks mics are really expensive. They're a lot more expensive than the ones that I'm showing here, just to let you know. Keith, again, the ZMC10 system were cymbal microphones that clipped to the stand under the bell of the mic, about half the size of a lapel mic. Okay. This name, which I always forget how to pronounce, T3HGIR. Tigger? Tigger. Hey drummers, I looked in the Yamaha EAD10, but I think for my technical prog rock metal double bass playing, the unit is not ideal. Well, it worked for Estepario Siberiano, so you could still give it a go. They're not cheap though, I think. You're not that far away from actually just getting, again, an interface and having a lot more control. I should look into that. I think from memory, last time I looked at the EAD10, which, don't get me wrong, it is an easy system to use by the looks. I've never used it, but it looks like it's just a one-stop shop plugin. How much is it? Oh, it's really up there. It's almost $1,000 New Zealand. So what's that in US dollars? That's about $5 US. It's about $600 if I convert that. You guys probably get it for cheaper. We get ripped off here for real. Yeah. You've added here, Tigger, need to invest in a full proper mic setup for my kit. I would, yep. My advice would be to actually start with one mic recordings. That forces you to balance your playing. And then from there, as you learn about recording, you can start adding more mics and hopefully improving your sound. People think when you start recording that it's going to be like this. Like your sound is, everything's just going to improve like this. It doesn't really work like that. You'll get improvements and then you'll overdo something and the sound will go down. And it's a real learning curve. I've made so many amateur mistakes and I still do. I still make plenty of recording mistakes. And every time I listen back to either me talking on a video or me playing the drums, oh my God, what is that? Every time. Keith, it had its own mixer and then you put into the main mix so you could just adjust each cymbal evenly for your style of playing and the style of music you're playing. That sounds really cool, man. John Marimba, important to get phase correct from snare and get the preamps set up not to clip at max volume. Yes, I did not talk about that. That kind of thing is easier to talk about with, if I can screen share and actually show how this works in the DAW. Maybe I should do that on one of my... Would you guys like that? If I showed you in my DAW, actually moving around the faders, and let me know. It might make a good video. Anthony Silva, hey man, working at the moment, but wanted to drop in and say I've been loving your videos recently. I watch them every morning when I'm waking up. That's what she said. Keep up the great vids. Thank you so much, Anthony Silva. I'm so sorry. I can't help it now. It's not even, it wasn't a funny joke even the first time I did it. Springy, help me out. We're going to turn the That's What She Said countometer off. We're just going to turn it off. It's not funny. It never was. And it's the lamest joke ever. No more in this video, please. Tigger, I do some one mic room recordings with a Zoom handheld. Learn so much about mixing yourself. Yes. I've used Zooms as well, especially at theatre shows. Again, if you go way back on my channel, you'll see footage of me doing theatre productions and stuff. And sometimes I'll just put a Zoom down and just record everything. Sometimes just my phone. Christopher Chaper. The first prehistoric man to use cymbals were Homo sapiens. Christopher, I've heard that one a zillion times. Oh, you're a hilarious man. You didn't copy and paste that comment from somewhere, did you? I think that's all I got. I don't have any more. Church of the Holy Mo. I saw an audio interface with AI. Plug mics in, press learn. Beat the snot out of the drums, and it sets all the levels appropriately. Wow. That is cool. Tigger, loving the dad joke memes on Instagram. I have to admit, I've been sharing those dad jokes to my Facebook. I didn't know, and it might be a thing I've got set up weird at the moment. If I share a picture to my Facebook, it's sharing to my Instagram. I knew the other way around happened. If you share to Instagram, you can choose to share that to Facebook. This is sharing it the other way. So I'm posting it to Facebook because I thought my Instagram was going to be just drums. Share a thing to Facebook and it's sharing it automatically. I don't know how to stop it. So yeah, if you're loving them, I'm going to keep going. Okay, and I did have a series of questions. Now, this is from a fellow drummer here in New Zealand, Dave Sanderson. Dave, I think you're working at the moment from your message, but hopefully you get to catch this later on. You've got a bunch of questions here. Usual questions for someone who hasn't started doing recording yet. Number one, how are you stripping the drums out of the audio you're playing to, mixing to? Long story short, I'm not all the time. So the Black Sabbath cover you saw me do, from memory, that was just, oh, hold on. No, I did take some of that out, didn't I? Okay, I'm either just playing right over the top of the original track, or I might take a little bit out via Moises. Moises is a free app. There's a free version, or I've got the paid version, which just allows you to use it more and for longer songs. The free version doesn't allow you to do songs over 5 minutes. And on Moises, you can just upload the song and do track separation, and you can fade vocals out, guitar out, bass out. It's an AI thing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. One tip, if you're going to start using Moises, don't take the drum channel all the way to 0. It takes out too much of everything else. Even though it says just drums, it's going to drag out a bit of energy from the track in general. Take it down to like 10 to 15%, and that leaves a lot of ambience on the track. So hopefully that answers part 1. 2, how are you mixing your recorded drums back into the audio? As in, do you spend the time editing it later, or are you taking your live mix and feeding it back into the camera? Oh, okay, to make your video editing process easier. No, I don't know how to do that. So I'm doing, I think, your first bit there, which is I'm recording my audio and video totally separately. So, and then in a video editor, I'm taking the audio files and syncing those up with the drum file. Another good hack for you, Dave, if you do start recording or doing covers, before the camera starts rolling, click your sticks together, just go click, and then so there's no other audio sort of to get in the way of that one sharp signal. And then when you go into your video editor, you'll line up your audio and then line up your video, and you find that sharp click, which will come through on both of them, on both channels, on the audio and the video channel. And you just line those up, lock it in, and that's how you sync your video. 3. Lots of questions here, and they're really good, Dave. Thank you so much. What's playing on your IEMs, in-ear monitors? If it's the track plus your live mix, no, it's not me playing. How are you setting that up and potentially sending that feed to the camera? No. Okay, so that's part of the previous question. I'm not sending it to the camera. What I'm listening to, and part 4, do you play to the track minus the drums or the original with the drums? Always with the drums. And which do you find easiest, pros or cons to both? No. I cannot imagine doing a drum cover and not having the drums in the track. I take the drums out afterward, if that makes sense, via Moises. So I'll have a track, Black Sabbath. I'll have my Black Sabbath track. Then I'll go into Moises, put the Black Sabbath track in my drawer. Put it in the drawer. Put it in my DAW, my DAW. Then I'll go into Moises with the same track, so it's exactly the same length. Do a drum reduction on that version. Load that into my DAW. Click. Now I've got 2 files clicked and linked together perfectly in time in my DAW, in my DAW. One of them has got very, very quiet drums on it. One of them's got loud original drum part in it. I mute the quiet drum part. I record my drums. And the file moves along. For the mix down, I mute the MP3 that had the drums in it. And now I unmute the MP3 file that had the lowered drum sound. And that's it. Hopefully that makes sense. How do you stop every track you upload from being blocked? Okay, yeah. Great question. This one pops up constantly. I see it constantly on drum forums. Hey, I keep getting blocked. How do you guys upload that video and not get it blocked? It's like, oh man. You can't upload directly to Facebook. This comment needs to be pinned on every drum forum in the world because it gets asked about 55 times a day on all these forums. I'll repeat this. You cannot upload your drum cover directly to Facebook, directly to Instagram. Most of the time. You can, however, upload your drum cover to YouTube and then link your YouTube video on Facebook. Is that clear? I don't make the rules. I just follow them. This needs to be put on a billboard or on one of those things that that follow planes around. You tie it to the plane and it flies around town all day saying, don't upload your drum covers directly to Facebook. They will be blocked. YouTube is amazing. And YouTube is the route to do it. And why wouldn't you do that anyway? The quality, uploading your song or your drumming directly to Facebook sounds horrible. There's some tragic Facebook algorithm that happens. Compression, that's awful. It'll sound really bad. You definitely want to link it from a high quality site like YouTube. Mel Smith, yes, that I would love to see a video of you sharing the way you record and mix. Okay, I will do that. There's a very, very good point from John Marimba. Even in private Facebook groups, the audio tends to get out of sync with the video. I've noticed this as well. This is really, really odd. Thank you so much for bringing that up. That's a great point. I need to remember that point, actually. I find the same on Instagram. I've uploaded things on Instagram that I know are in sync. And I upload it on Instagram and it's out of sync. Like, not a cover, because that'll get blocked, right? just me playing something, and it goes out of sync, and I'm just thinking, I don't know how this is possible. How are they separating? It must be an AI thing again. I guess it's separating the audio somehow. Oh, one other thing I haven't touched on, I think, is, well, there's a lot of things I won't have touched on. Most importantly, you need to learn the song, and you need to be able to play the song well, right? Whether that be you shredding over the top of it, like El Estepario Siberiano, or playing it basically note for note, which is my kind of game, which is what I enjoy anyway. I've lost my train of thought there. What am I talking about? Learning the song. So if you're going to shred over the song and just have a bit of fun, and I don't know, just play through it by ear. You have to learn it by ear, right? And that normally requires a lot of time, a lot of repetition, just playing the song over and over and over. We're talking about learning a song here, really, not how to record a drum cover. But the other way, if you can read, or you want to learn how to read, go and grab my free Drumeo trial, and you can pick up over 3,000 song transcriptions now. They're up to over 3,000. So most of the covers it's definitely recently, you'll see the Drumeo music rolling along with my cover. I cannot even begin to describe what an amazing feature that is on Drumeo. So yeah, if you're smart, if you can read and you're smart, you would take my trial and grab yourself some transcriptions, because I tell you, for teaching and playing, no brainer. John Marimba, most streaming formats separate audio and video, and they're segmented. It's complicated and surprisingly difficult to get transcoding right. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just going to go back. I think we're pretty good. I think I covered most things I wanted to cover. Dave Sanderson, I hope I answered your great questions correctly. You can always hit me up. We're Facebook buddies. You can always hit me up if you've got any more questions. That's absolutely fine. And again, I can only offer what I know. I'm not a professional audio engineer. I'm not the best drummer in the world, and I'm not the best at recording drum covers. So I can only give you the tips that I've personally learned. Keith, one thing I really love doing is sit down with an instrumental track that was recorded without drums, percussion, and then improvise, create my own drum parts on the fly. Great exercise for creativity. You should record that. That would be, let us see it, man. Michael Paris, listening to just drums and bass, or no drums, or no guitars or vocals only. It's so interesting and make the song fresh. Are you talking about Moises here? Really cool. Phenomenal. If you guys aren't on Moises, go and get it. What else we got? Fripson. Hey man, love your channel. Can you recommend a decent E-kit? E-kit for a noob. Not too pricey, but still okay. Honestly, I can't. And the only reason for that is because I've never had a really cheapy E-kit. I've only ever had one E-kit in my life, and it's a TD17 Roland. So I don't know what you mean by cheap, but my kit was about $2,500 New Zealand dollars. New Zealand dollars. Band meeting. Jermaine. Here. Sometimes I just go full Kiwi on this channel. So yeah, I've only ever used a TD17 KVX by Roland. Link in the description of the video. I can't recommend a cheapie because two reasons. I've never really used them, and I'm getting low on battery. I've never used them, and the students I have who do use them say they're really bad. So I think you're kind of getting what you pay for there. Is this stream still okay? Because I just got a low battery warning on my phone. And I can't recommend things I don't use or recommend. So sorry about that. Not a very satisfying answer, but an honest one. Fripson, I live in a flat, so I have to go electric. Yep, totally understand. Excuse me. What you could do, Fripson, is grab yourself a practice pad. That's probably what I'll do. And just absolutely go to town on my hands. That's what she said. John Marimba, I got a tip from Simon Phillips. Record your own click track with a shaker if you're going to record without the original drums. Your own shaker playing will be pocketed and more fun to play with. Nice. Yeah, sorry, Fripson. Just being honest, man. E-kits. That's another discussion. I find there's E-kits and then there's drum kits. And I personally find they're two different instruments. The coordination is similar. The fine-tuned sensitivity of an acoustic kit is impossible to get on an E-kit, even the high-end E-kits. My E-kit is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty smart. It's pretty clever. It's not like playing an acoustic kit. It's not as sensitive. It misses things. And if you think of things working in like I guess, what would you call it? Like gradients or like, volume bumps going like click into the next volume, next volume, next volume, next volume. And the more of those kind of things you have, the more increments, supposedly the more smoother these transitions are going to be. Like hi-hat splashes, for example, or cymbal rolls, crescendos. It's all there on E-kits, on good E-kits. It's just not like an acoustic kit though. It doesn't respond, it doesn't feel the same. So this is my thoughts. And I can't handle any kind of delay. If there's any kind of latency or lag, no. Tigger, if you only learn on an E-kit, you will encounter a big learning curve the first time you play acoustic. Yeah, I think, I don't want to, it sounds like I'm bagging E-kits here. I'm really not. They're better. E-kits are better for some things. They really are. Not better for all, though. Money Penny woke up. Hello. Do you want to say hello? No. Money Penny is a silver tabby British short hair. She's the love of our life. Our firstborn. We call her our firstborn. A bit grumpy, though. And very sleepy. Guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up. Mainly because this battery's about to die. And then we're going to have a really abrupt finish, I think. That's what she said. And also, I think I will have to get going as well. Over to my teaching rooms. So this is a different type of live video. Please keep commenting in the comment section as well as, when the live chat stops. If there's any other questions, I can definitely do a follow-up. And I think it might be a good idea to do like a screen share, like a run through my recording. Actually, I did that the last time I did the bunch of recording, like the Everlong and the Black Sabbath one I recently did. At the end, I did a bit of a gear run through on positioning of the mics and stuff. So there's that. And then I might be able to follow that up with like a screen share thing of what I do. So I get home and what do I do with all the audio channels and the video channels and editing everything together. So that might be a nice little follow-up, might help you out. with that. I hope you got something from this video, and I really do appreciate you joining in. It's a different type of video. It's probably not for everyone on my channel, but I think if you do record drums, it's really fun. As I say, it is the best way to improve your drumming. And I cannot say this enough. I sound like a broken record, but if you do not record yourself, you don't know what you sound like. It is a horrific day. The day you go and you find yourself in a studio with your band and you're recording for that first time in a studio, and you've never recorded before, and you hear yourself back in the control room and you go, who's that? And the engineer's going, that's you. We've all been there. And you just think, that's me? That drum kit falling down a flight of stairs is me playing the drums. I nailed that track. You think you nailed that track. When you listen back to it, it is a drum kit falling down a flight of stairs, or a drum kit in a very large dryer. And then a magical thing happens. When you record yourself, when you hear this, you get this realization. This humility and this modesty. And you realize, I've got a lot to learn. I've got a lot of work to do. I can hear things now. That fill I always do, that does not work. Or, you know what? That fill I did there, that was actually pretty good. Or, overall on this whole recording session, I was dragging. I didn't even realize I was dragging. The band have told me before I drag. Now I'm listening back to it. I do drag, and I thought they were just being beeping beeps. They weren't. They were telling me the truth. Do this over the years. Record, listen back, record, listen back, record, listen back. It's amazing what you'll fix in your drumming. Often it is the absolute basics. You know, an 8th note rock beat, and it is not in time. The classic, an 8th note rock beat, a 16th note fill, 8th note rock beat. None of it was in time. You rushed the fill, and then you had to overcorrect it to get back into the beat. It's done. It's ruined. it's no good. And that little section, that 8th note rock beat, 16th fill, 8th note rock beat, if those fundamentals aren't down, multiply that by a whole song, a whole gig, junk. This is what happened. And you know, you go and see a gig and you're just like, this is just not good. Compared to you go and watch Gavin Harrison, you go watch Lionel Lewis, you go and watch whoever the amazing drummers on this channel that we've watched. You watch them and you just go, oh my God, Steve Jordan. He's playing a rock beat and it sounds like that. I play a rock beat and it sounds like that. That's when the penny drops. And you become a lot more honest with yourself and a lot more humble. That's my final sermon from the soapbox. I'm going to go and snuggle Miss Moneypenny. Sorry about that. Make myself another coffee, and I'm going to go and do some teaching. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I will see you next week. Let's think of a fun topic for next week's live video. Take care and good luck with your recording, everybody.